we are meeting early to go over the budget. I have one addition to the agenda, which is the certificate of highway mileage for the roads. Is there anything else that anybody knows that we need to add? I entertain the motion to add the certificate of highway mileage.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So let's go right to the budget. Okay, any questions on the town clerk's office? Okay. Treasurer's office. You don't say anything, I presume there's not. Lister's office. Selectboard. General expenses. Planning. Recreation department.
Okay.
School rental, is that the final figure from school, Shelley?
As far as I know, as far as I recall.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't change it, but, okay. Building and grounds. That is, we were going to discuss that, are we going to put that money in there and then decide what we're doing afterwards? Okay. Cemeteries. Seniors. Town van. Historians. Contracted public safety services.
Does that include their change numbers?
Pardon me?
Is that the higher number that their new thing is?
Yes, that's the new number.
See that thing in the paper saying they had to start that around.
Fire department. Other public safety. Highway maintenance. Town garage operation.
Did wonder about this one, since they're hiring somebody new, are they gonna start at a different amount, so the budget as much?
That is a good point. That is true.
I don't know what they started.
And
I have that
Mr.
right
Root, is that, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, Mr. Root, is that the operator or mechanic? I don't recall.
It's operator
It's the
mechanic's
operator.
position.
Thank you.
Is Cindy on?
Nope, only Captain Baldwin's waiting. Cindy's just a call, remember?
Yeah, she might call.
Yeah, do you want to give her a call and ask her if she has,
Oh yeah, I think I wrote her number down on the inside of my folder.
Because he's
There it
been there
is.
for a long
he
time,
has.
right?
Do you have a specific question or just
Yeah, we just want to know on the part-time, on the operator mechanic.
throwing in busy?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know in this market,
Yeah, that's true.
somebody starting certainly shouldn't be.
Yeah, but you can't start a higher than somebody that's been there too, though.
Yeah, right.
And it is double position.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's just ringing busy.
Okay. Well, we can either wait to change it, or we can amend it at town meeting.
Yeah, so then we should probably, Cindy and
David.
David should be
Yeah.
talked to about that one.
Okay, thank you. And road equipment repair and maintenance.
I'm okay with that. I'm gonna ask the same question I asked last time, so I forgot.
But
When do we look at the capital budget?
we haven't been able to find anybody on the committee to.
Yeah, there hasn't been anybody available who's even on the committee.
Yes.
Catherine's still on it?
Sandra Rulovich is on?
No, Catherine, isn't she on that?
She
Or
is.
Yes.
Planning. Which one is she on?
Yeah, I think she's on there. She's on the capital plan committee.
She's right there?
Hey, Kat,
Yes,
you're on the capital planning committee?
yes.
Have you guys met?
No, I was thinking about that as I was logging on, that I hadn't heard from Linda about when our meeting is, and I need to reach out to her.
Yeah, we have not been able to make connections with her, so
Oh,
we would appreciate it if you do.
I will try. I don't know if I have better contacts than you guys, but yes, I will try, because I was thinking that I thought we were due for a meeting at some
Yes.
point.
Yeah, we need the information like a week ago, so that would be great.
Okay, I will see what I can do.
Thank you. Right, so that's the answer to that. Okay, so we have no questions on this then. We'll take it when it gets there. All right. Minute approval. Yes, sir.
Is this the workshop, right?
This is the meeting.
Meeting.
So it's all right. So we can go into the regular meeting, okay?
So, I have no remarks. And the two gentlemen running the camera don't look like they have any questions. So we are at approval minutes, December 7th and December 21st.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the minutes of December 7th as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Motion carries. December 21st.
I move that we accept the minutes of December 21st as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Jeff? Okay,
Aye.
and I'll say aye. Motion carries. Okay. Is David Emery on?
No.
All right, so we'll come back to him. Tom, you want to do the warrant?
Sure. Madam Chair, I move that the board accept both the warrant 13T accounts payable, $44,221.18, warrant 51S, $8,937.73, warrant 52S payroll, $15,851.63.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. We're on to you, Michelle. Welcome back. You were missed.
Well, thank you. I I just have a very short report. I'm currently working on the annual report. Any suggestions for pictures and dedications, like the inside cover, would be greatly appreciated. As I'm pulling it together pretty quickly and getting it prepped and ready for the printer, ASAP. The retirement plan presentation for the Vermont Municipal Employee Retirement Options will be tomorrow from 1:30 to 3 p.m. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you. New business. We have human services organizations. Shirley, do you want to speak to this?
So I received the following. 1, 2, 3. So we have 4 requests for appropriations, and I wasn't sure if they needed to be approved by the board to go on the warning. So I put them in the folder for tonight's meeting.
Okay. Board, what is your pleasure?
Did we make the rule that they all didn't have to do anything here?
Right, just request.
Last year. No petitions.
So there's no objections, they stay on. Okay?
Okay. I didn't know if a motion was required. Okay.
Okay, and we have the printer quotes for the annual report.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 quotes, and I had them re-quoted because Tim didn't think that we would need to print more than 350, and I wanted them to be as accurate and as recent as possible because they were only good for 30 days, a lot of them. So I marked on the front of each one how much it was to print each report.
Now, will they print extras?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And what would the price be for if they had to run an extra 50? The same?
It would be pretty much the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first smaller amount that costs for the
Okay.
setup.
You know who we used to use, or we normally?
I tried to get in touch with, I think it was CNS Printing, and I don't know that they're in business. I've tried 3 ways to try to contact them. So I went with a couple that I was familiar with and had used in the past, and then a couple that were really local.
Board?
There's quite a difference in price per report from the lowest to the highest. Shelley, do you feel that we're comparing apples with apples? You
Yeah.
are explicit as to what?
Very specific on the binding, the color pages, the gloss cover, that would be the only color ink. White pages, just black ink. I was pretty specific.
Okay, all right,
The only, Madam Chair,
Yes. Good, Tom.
the only question I have is on the low bidder, Brayshaw. It talks in the 350 books, I get that, of reports. But it's talking about 80 pages, 40 sheets.
That's 80, because the report's typically roughly about 80 pages.
80, okay. I was
Yeah, and it's
wondering if
40
it was
sheets front and back.
Bigger,
Yeah.
and it's 8.5 by, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to get caught if it ended up to be a 150-page report.
No, they get really technical, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
keep it to what it was last year.
Okay, I just didn't see that on the others. That's why I was
Yep.
questioning it. Thank
No
you.
worries.
Do you know what size paper a Minuteman is using? Because I noticed Brayshaw is using a 20-pound and Case Printing is using 50-pound.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Okay.
Because I just clarified, just white paper.
The Minuteman is 60-pound.
Finishing.
That's 50-pound.
Glass covers 80.
Number 60, number 50. Number 80. And loss cover.
I can go back and
So, yeah, this is.
clarification.
Brayshaw's using a 20-pound.
Yeah, that's that one.
That's this.
Yes. Yeah, that's. Yeah, when you double side that, you can see through it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be why we did.
I can have them record it for next meeting, if need be.
What did we have budgeted for this, do you remember?
That is the only thing I did not look up. That'd be right in the budget. Under the Selectboard budget.
$1,000.
So you got 11, 988, 1100, 1600. And 1680.
Look it up, something next year's budget for that then.
We did it,
Yeah, so it's 1,000.
So do you want to take these under advisement, or do you just want to go with the higher pound paper?
I think the higher pound paper is, because if you put,
Right, I didn't know if we were gonna get, this is what he bid, so
Right.
bid's the bid. So the question then becomes, we go to Hudson, well, that's the,
I know that I've used Case in the past, and they will bring it right to the doorstep.
Literally not cost much to ship them, you should ship them all medium now too.
well, for the sake of having a discussion, I would move that we award the town report bid to Case Printing of Hudson, New Hampshire at a price of $1,193 or $3.41 per page.
Second that.
it's been moved and seconded. Further discussion? Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of awarding this bid to Case, please signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, in Case it is.
Okay.
All right, we see that Mr. Emery is here. You're up, David.
All right, sorry, I think I'm a little bit tardy. My calendar and I wrote at 6:30, so I'm right on time according to my calendar, my time. So basically, I'll give you the quick overview. Today is January 4th, 2022. And today we've made another record, unfortunately, with 1,727 people testing positive today. For a total of 68,957 positive tests in the state. Today there's 83 people in the hospital, 19 of them are in intensive care, and sadly reporting 480 deaths. So from March through December, Vernon shows 214 positive tests in the town of Vernon. And talking about tests, as you know, the state is passing out, or was, and will continue eventually to pass out free antigen tests. And it was done briefly for a couple of days, where you could get 2 kits per car. However, they didn't have enough, and it went very quickly, depending on where you were in line, whether you got the test. The tests have been done, but then they changed and went to the school system so that the kids could be tested before they went back to school. So then they set up a program where families could pick up their students' tests. So having said that, if in fact you pick one up and you test, the state wants you to go on to their website and click in and report whether you're positive or negative. It takes about 15 minutes, a simple process test. Unfortunately, they aren't 100% accurate, so you may get a positive when it's negative or vice versa. One of the things that have happened since then, a lot of people have turned and gone to the ER when they've tested positive, and it's overwhelmed the emergency rooms. So if you test positive and you don't have symptoms, then it's recommended that you just call your physician and talk to them. And chances are there's 2 tests in each kit. Chances are they're going to tell you wait 24 hours, do another test, and then call your physician back. However, if you're having symptoms, it's probably important to get medical treatment. I don't know if, has Mark Snow already been on?
No.
Okay. So having said that, so you need to go report false or negative so that the state can have that. Talking about, there they are. Why so many cases in the state of Vermont? And that's actually a great question, and it's not an easy question to answer. But what it's actually saying here, if I can try to read this, my glasses fogged up with my mask. There's not a simple answer. There's 2 things that have happened: Omicron and the Delta variants, and those 2 are the big changing in this whole case thing. Delta and Omicron are more contagious. It spreads twice as fast as their normal COVID. People who are vaccinated can still get it and spread Delta or Omicron, but for a shorter period than unvaccinated people. So it doesn't live as long in a vaccinated person. Vaccines are still the best protection against severe illnesses, hospital, and death. That's your still best protection if you can. Vermonters who were vaccinated early in the pandemic are actually increased. That's why they haven't been to get boosted. So the higher number of the older generation, and Vermont has a lot of older generation people, and so it's a bigger problem in Vermont than in some other parts of the country. So the booster is very important, and what they are recommending is that you go, instead of 6 months, that you look at the 5-month window now to get your booster. The other part, and probably the most important thing, our behaviors have changed here in Vermont. And the behavior meaning that We're returning to doing things that we did prior to the pandemic. We're traveling. We're getting together more often. And now that winter's here, we're moving indoors, and we're all wearing masks less. So you add all that stuff together, and it comes up with many adults, children, adolescents are contacting the virus. Unfortunately, no one is exempt at this point. So I think you've heard me say this before, but I'll repeat it. Mask, social distancing, wash your hands, and vaccinations are the key to this whole thing.
Mark came on too.
Oh, he is on? Okay, good. I think that's all that I have updated here. Oh, no, there's one more thing. What they're seeing now is what they're calling long-term COVID. It's a result of having COVID, and some people aren't recovering quickly and recovering at all. So it's long-term issues that people are having. And it's looking at this point, what they're saying, about 10% of the people that end up with COVID could be in a long-term issue of some sort of respiratory issue or other internal organ issues. So that's one of the things that we'll probably be seeing in the near future, more information about the long-term effects of it.
Can you tell how do you tell if it's Delta or Omicron, or just plain COVID?
I'm sorry?
How do you tell if it's the Delta or the Omicron or just plain COVID?
Well, we can't. If you go and have a test by your physician, they can tell the difference when they send the test away. But the antigen test doesn't do that. It doesn't tell you the difference if there's one or the other. But they do know that the Delta and the Omicron are ones that spread the fastest. So.
Thank you. Michael, any questions? Okay, Jeff?
Do you know what the prevalence now is of the Omicron in Vermont? Like what percent? Is it overshadowing Delta and Alpha?
Yep, and that's a great question, Mr. Dunkley. Unfortunately, I don't have that information, but the story out there is that is part of Delta and Omicron are the ones that are causing the big rise. But I don't have that specific numbers to tell you.
I mean, it's really only been 5 weeks since Omicron reached our shores.
Exactly, yeah. So
it's amazing if right now it's the most prevalent variant already. But yeah, it is, as you said, much more contagious than anything else, but hopefully less severe symptoms.
Well, what they're saying is that the symptoms can be the same and can be just as disastrous. The key is whether or not you have antibodies in your system to fight it off. It's just as deadly. One of the advances that it does is it spreads faster and easier, and it attacks you quicker than the original one. But I agree.
Yeah, which is, medically, that's the point of the mutation in the variant is you don't want to kill if you're a parasite, you don't want to kill your host.
Exactly, yeah.
But you do want to spread as rapidly into many hosts as possible.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I'm sure we'll see a few more variants. They're going to run out of the Greek alphabet sooner or later.
Unfortunately, I think you're correct. I don't know if Mark is still somewhere.
Yeah.
If he has anything
Well, Tom, do
I'm
you
here.
have any questions?
I do not, no.
Okay. Mark, you want to fill us in what you have for us, please?
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for having us tonight. I just wanted to update that the CDC recently updated their recommendations. On December 27th, CDC shortened the recommended isolation and quarantine period for the general population, and they broke it down into 3 different categories. One is if you have been boosted, if you've been vaccinated or have been boosted, completed the primary series of the vaccinations within the last 6 months, or completed the primary series of the J&J vaccine within the last 2 months. If you were to test positive for COVID-19, CDC is recommending now that you stay home for 5 days. If you have no symptoms or your symptoms are resolving after 5 days, you can leave your house. Continue to wear a mask around others for 5 additional days. If you have a fever, continue to stay home until your fever resolves. That's the first category. Second is if you were exposed to someone with COVID-19, then if you have been boosted, completed the primary series of vaccines, Pfizer or Moderna within the last 6 months, or completed the primary series of J&J vaccine within the last 2 months, then their recommendations is to wear a mask around others for 10 days, test on day 5 if possible, and if you develop symptoms, get a test and stay home. If you've completed the primary series, Pfizer or Moderna vaccine over 6 months ago and are not boosted, or completed the primary series of J&J over 2 months ago and are not boosted, or you are unvaccinated, then the CDC's recommendation is to stay home for 5 days. After that, continue to wear a mask around others for 5 additional days. If you can't quarantine, you must wear a mask for 10 days. And then test on day 5 if possible. If you develop symptoms, get a test and stay home. Those are the guidelines that were recently released by the CDC. What I would recommend people, if they have any questions, certainly get on the website for CDC and get the information firsthand.
Thank you. Any questions? Mark? No? Jeff? Tom?
No.
Jim? Yep. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
You want me to go with my quarterly?
Okay, so let's go with your quarterly now.
I can wait if you want.
No, because you're next up.
Okay. Well, my quarterly isn't going to be very as long. Most of my time I have been spending, obviously, with COVID stuff. That takes a lot of time to just listen in conferences and et cetera like that. So that's where the majority of my time has been going. However, I'm still with the Fire Advisory Committee, and we're still meeting regularly. We're very healthy in that committee. Things are going, what I would say is extremely well. We're pretty happy with the fire department and the progress that they've made. And I'll come back to that eventually with, as the chairman of that committee, with recommendations of where we think it should go in the future. I will admit there's been no movement on my part for reorganizing the emergency management group, nor there has been any movement on my part for moving the EOC to any specific location. So pretty much I'm staying update with the regional groups, the fire and the EMDs throughout the region. But pretty much that's it in a nutshell. I would say, going back a little bit to COVID, is that because of the high numbers, lots of hospitals and staffing, and in Vermont, they're having problems, and they're going to be bringing in additional nurses and doctors to help, and you're probably going to be seeing more and more elective surgeries postponed or taking place, obviously, on an emergency basis. So if you're in fact scheduled for elective surgeries, you may want to contact your physician or your surgeon to find out if that's still going to happen. So overall, the EM office is status quo. We've done, I think, a good job. I'm hopefully that every time I think that we're winning, where we can get back and do more stuff, something else changes. So, winter's here. I guess as emergency management, I can tell you the ice is not safe. Brattleboro experienced water rescue this morning with a person out on the retreat meadows. I don't know if they were skating or what the program was, but so I can tell you that the ice is, as Thumper would say, is not stiff enough for you to be on. 1 day of below zero weather doesn't constitute 5 inches of ice. So that's about all that I have. I'm certainly interested in hearing from any of you if there's anything that you would like me to do or not do.
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
Good, thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, stay safe, everyone. Have a great New Year.
Thanks, David.
Thank you so much.
We are down to the equalization.
Catherine said she had an update on the.
Oh, Catherine, you do. Thank you.
I do. I talked to Linda.
Great.
I don't know, evidently a month and a half ago, she said she had talked to Shelley. She's not doing the committee anymore. And apparently neither is anyone other than Joyce and myself. So if Shelley could email me all of the stuff I need, the data, the numbers, whatever it is I need, I will work on trying to get that in the chart and get it to you guys like tomorrow.
That is amazing, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, obviously we need a committee because it's me and Joyce, and I don't think that a committee makes.
No.
So we need to work on getting some additional members on the committee. But in the meantime, I'll work on getting you guys the information you need.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Shelley, do you have my email?
I do. I'll email you in the morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yes.
We want to have Tim put out something, try to get more people.
So Holland Rockport did leave our committee too.
Yes, I
I
spoke
thought he was
with
the only one that actually told us he was, that's what I remember.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Nobody told me anything, so
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
sorry.
it's okay.
Okay.
I was new to the committee, so.
Other than that,
Well, we got a new broom there. Thank you.
Oh, there was, Sandra Rulowitz
Yes.
was on that also.
Sandra Rulowitz was on, do you know if she's resigned?
Linda told me that Joyce and myself are the only ones that are still on the committee. So everyone else that was on the committee has apparently resigned.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, you do.
If no one steps up, I would be glad to help them this
Okay.
year.
Thank you, Tom. So Tom's willing to help you.
Wonderful. I don't know what I'm doing, so it'll be like, I don't know, maybe the blind leading the blind.
It will be off the cliff, but it'll be fun.
All right,
we had a
thanks.
positive attitude.
Right. Now we go to the equalization study. You all got a copy of it, I believe. Our total grand list from 411s was 404,802,220. The equalized education grand list was 387,776,566. Our common level of appraisal is at 104.39%, or 1.0439, and our coefficient of dispersion is at 7.51. And that's from the state of Vermont. So we're still over the 100%. Okay. Shelley has given us the warning articles for 2022 to look at. We need to set up a work session to go over those. What is good for you folks?
Yeah.
Pretty free right now.
You want to do it
Okay.
next Tuesday?
If we could start at 6:30,
Yeah.
I have a board meeting at 4:30, but I should be done by
Okay.
11.
So 6:30 next Tuesday, does that, this will just be a work session where we're just going to work on the articles. Okay.
6:30.
6:30.
Will we need the treasurer to join us at least by phone at that meeting?
It would be nice if she could.
Okay. When would you like me to call her back? She did call.
She's on. She can hear us too, she said.
Okay.
Oh, okay, great.
It would be nice if you can join us next Tuesday, Cindy, too. All right. We have the contract for cleaning. You all got copies sent to you. And the first one is the contract for cleaning with June Turner. We need a motion to sign it.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, hold on. Cindy's trying to talk to you.
Okay.
Yes. We'll work on it. Hold on. Should I put her on speaker?
Sure.
Can you hear us?
Hi, everybody. Can
Hi,
you hear me
Cindy.
now?
Okay.
Okay, you scheduled the articles for next Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to do the budget as well?
We worked on that tonight.
Okay, so I'll stay on with you. Because I have a couple of changes I need to tell you about.
Okay, very good. So stay on with us. We're just going to go over the contracts, unless the board wants to go right to the budget and come back to contracts.
Okay.
Let's go right to the budget. So what are your changes, Cindy?
Okay, on the budget, I did already tell you that I put in for the custodial position.
Right?
But I spoke with David tonight, and he asked me to increase the health insurance and the dental insurance because of the new person. What we have right now is for Stanley, and he's retired, so it's much less than the Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay.
So his dental, the health insurance will increase from $4,994 to $67,749.
Okay.
And the dental will increase from $2,000 to $2,634.
Okay.
So that increases the bottom line to $291,884.
Thank you.
Because he's not sure when they hire the new person what they will need.
Right. So what about the salary for the new person?
The salary should be okay because they'll start at the first quartile, and Stanley's in the higher than that.
Right, so should we be lowering what we have budgeted?
We could lower it. I did not do that because I wasn't sure,
Okay.
but I can do that.
What does the board wish?
It would be,
Her and Dave should talk about it.
Yeah, you and Dave should talk about it.
excuse me?
You and Dave should talk about that.
Yes, I think we should.
Okay.
We discussed the health insurance, but nothing else.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Cindy? Michael? Jeff? Tom?
No.
Jim? Okay. Thank you, Cindy.
Do you have any other changes you're going to make tonight?
No, we just had a question on the salary of the new person. That was the only question we had.
What about building and grounds?
We left that number.
Well, I added per Tom's email the custodial position at 20 hours and the custodian FICA,
Right.
but I didn't change anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, so the contracts are still there.
Right. So that should go to the check.
Right.
So what do you?
So I thought we had agreed at the last meeting to drop the groundkeeping to $1,000 and the snow removal to $1,000.
So you're increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
By $1,000 of snow removal?
No, to $1,000, from $10,000, from $3,000 to $1,000,
Oh, okay.
and the groundkeeping and cleaning from $21,000 to $1,000.
The cleaning is 11,000.
Yes, and I'm recommending that those two line items, because the
Did we do it to
custodial,
1,000?
correct,
Okay, I got it.
yes. That's just in case you run into a heavy snowstorm as we discussed, or we run into something that we gotta bring another body in on maybe some of the groundskeeping. So the total reduction is $22,000 out of that 123, excuse me. It's 21, 24.
Okay.
Yeah, the total reduction is $21,000. And without the FICA, the 20-hour-a-week custodial position is $21,890 per your calculation, and on 20 hours of 21. So you're
Right.
up, you're up $890 plus FICA.
Right.
Anything else, folks? Are you ready for a vote on the final budget? Or do you want to wait until David talks with Cindy?
Well, we have to get that number, right?
Yeah, and then we can have this number right on the sheet for the final budget approval.
Final budget approval.
So you get those three, you got the 21,890 and then you could get the whatever David and Cindy figure out with the highway position.
Thank you. Thank you. We are now back to the contractor services.
So are you all set with me now?
I think so.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
So,
Yes,
I move that we award the contract for
we
service.
already did that. We
Okay.
just need to vote to sign. Authorize
right.
authorize
I'm
turn out
sorry.
of them.
We
That's
ran
right,
into an issue with the cleaning contract that I need to bring up.
Okay, go ahead.
So we have where this person does not have insurance. They have the, what is it called, liability exposure percentage that would be deducted from their pay, it would be 10%, and that's not gonna work. So we were looking at the possibility of increasing it from $200 a week to $230, which we were paying previously for the short term that we would have that person. Because Cindy also does not take out taxes.
Right, because it would be a 1099 position,
Right,
right?
which makes it a little more complicated, so I wanted to bring that to your attention. And see what your thoughts are on moving forward with the contract.
Madam Chair, does that 10% buy a bond, a liability bond?
It's what the town has always done, and they do the same thing for the historians when they have to work on the property and they're not insured. They take 10% of the pay that they get while they're actually physically working on the grounds, and that's supposed to cover
The town's risk.
the town's risk factor.
So what the bottom line was, to take 10% off of the 200, she wouldn't do it for that every week.
For 180?
Yeah, she was planning the 200, so if you go to 230, plus $23 comes off for the risk factor. So it would end up 207 a week.
Back in 2018, there was a motion made that the contractor had to pay 100% of the risk factor in lieu of insurance.
Okay, board.
I'm not going to be the skunk at this garden party.
Well, just come to our bathroom. You won't have to.
She wants her bathroom cleaned.
I
finally got
understand.
down and cleaned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a new development this afternoon.
I don't know how that could possibly cover a liability issue over 6 months.
That's what they use.
This was all coming down from our insurance company, as I recall.
Yes.
That's how that started.
Coming from Reed from the Veal CT.
So
Okay.
that's kind of, that's what they say it will cover.
Do we buy a policy with that, or is it just put in escrow?
I think it's just, I don't know.
I think that it probably falls with the town's insurance and having uninsured contractors.
Okay.
I think it goes into a
Oh,
fund.
well, there was a state law that said anybody who worked for municipality had to be insured. No?
Because we were requiring,
That's liability, well, I mean, we're talking liability, of course,
Right.
they have workers' comp if they get employees.
Mhm.
so do you want to up it or put it back out to bid? Do we have the money in the budget to cover that increase?
Yes. We have not paid anyone for many months.
For 3 months, no,
We've been cleaning
bills.
bathrooms.
Anything paid? We need a motion to avoid the other folks. It may have to be the skunk.
I'll make a motion, I'm just, there's a lot of contemplating over there.
I know.
Fine with me.
What did he say?
It's fine.
It's fine with me,
Oh, okay.
if you're looking for an opinion. So what, it's just an extra $30 a week?
Mhm.
It's not forever.
Right.
Right, it's a
Yeah,
short
and
term.
keep our fingers crossed, nothing goes wrong.
So do you have a motion?
So we have to move to change the contract?
Yes.
Okay, so I move that we change the contract for cleaning services to be $230 per week.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Can we do a motion to sign it after it's corrected?
Yes, to authorize the town administrator to sign.
By authorizing move that we authorize the town administrator to sign the corrected contract.
Is there a- Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Nothing's changed on the other two, has it? Okay.
No.
Now we have patrols for the, we're going to do snow and ice removal.
There's two originals.
Oh, thank you, because they both name us snow and ice.
One for the town, one for the contractor.
Okay, and where's the other one? Is it just snow and ice?
Just snow and ice, because
Okay.
by the time the time frame ends, it won't even be mowing season yet.
Okay.
I didn't know if you planned it that way.
Let's see, entertain motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we sign the contract for the snow and ice removal.
That we authorize the town administrator.
Authorize the town administrator to sign the contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Down over that and that. Certificate of highway mileage. Every year David has to have this signed. And it appears there's been no change since last year. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve and sign the certificate of highway mileage for the year ending February 10th, 2022.
Is that just your signature or all of us?
Oh, that's okay, got the privilege of signing this.
I move the board approves and signs high mileage certificate.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Motion carries. So we will be meeting next Tuesday, January 11th, for a work session on the articles and hopefully to receive the capital plan. And then on the 18th is our regular. It's nice not meeting on Wednesdays. It's nice not meeting on Wednesdays.
You already did all that to do, Jen?
Yeah,
Um,
zip right through.
That concludes all we have on our agenda. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.